Starting us off is a story from Ken Silva about the FBI having security footage of the Butler Trump shooting. The footage may identify movements in advance by alleged shooter Thomas Crooks. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin has subpoenaed the FBI for evidence related to the July 13, 2024 shooting, and the evidence included surveillance footage that might show law enforcement chasing Crooks. The footage is from an ice cream shop that had a clear vantage of the AGR building, its roof being where the FBI hosed off all the biological evidence. Although the footage doesn't have a view of the AC unit Crooks supposedly used to climb onto the roof, there is a possibility it may show local cops that were on traffic duty in that area that chased the alleged shooter before he opened fire. And according to a rallygoer by the name of Bradford Price, the King Cones Castle footage might also show a young man open carrying a rifle with a group of people following him around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time that day. The shooting happened around 6. Price also filed a lawsuit against the Pennsylvania State Police for body cam footage from troopers close to the same area of the rally, but they claimed that they had no such footage, and a local judge dismissed it. Kudos for trying, though. Senator Johnson expected Kashat Patel's FBI to be more forthcoming and transparent, but there hasn't been much of that from any authority in this story, from the FBI all the way down to the Bethel Park Police. Where's our phone call at? Headline USA is dedicated to releasing all records of this incident in American history to the public. Maybe if you're listening to this, you can reach out to your senator and ask them to back Johnson's subpoena and pressure the FBI to be as open and forthcoming as it should be in the public interest. Moving on to another story about the fateful Butler Trump rally, we have more news from Ken Silva about DHS agents being led that day by an FBI domestic terrorism squad member. While it has previously been reported that whistleblower disclosures had revealed that at least 16 Homeland Security Investigations agents were working the day of the Butler rally, but until now it hasn't been reported that the HSI agents were led by a member of the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. And according to an interview transcript from the Senate Homeland Security Committee, the FBI JTTF member made crucial mistakes leading up to the shooting, including diverting another agent away from his search from the suspicious person with a rangefinder. That person turned out to be Thomas Crooks. What did she send him away for? To grab an order of death by chocolate from King Cones Castle? This unknown agent from the Phoenix, Arizona office was assigned to the JTTF at the FBI in the Domestic Terrorism Squad, which would be a coincidence in a case with an alleged shooter like Crooks with all the telltale signs of a federal domestic terrorism case, including the failed explosives found in his car, along with the lockdown on all access to his social media accounts, to cover up the trail. The agent conveniently left the Phoenix field office in August of 2024, weeks after the shooting, and transferred to Redacted. I heard it's really nice there this time of year. She claims to have encountered a chain link fence in her golf cart, separating her from the AGR building. And that's when she gave up the search beyond the fence. She headed back towards the stage for Trump to start and told her partner, the local plainclothes cop, to go search the perimeter instead. She did look through the fence, though, and didn't see anyone, she says. So there wasn't any need to look further, right? Oh, and it gets better. After sending the plainclothes cop away from the AGR building, You know, where Crooks was found moments later with a rifle. She then reportedly told another agent she bumped into that she had that area covered and sent him in the opposite direction, away from the potential threat that she had rode her trusty cart to investigate. However, she claimed to Congress she doesn't recall giving that instruction. She was, of course, never disciplined and no longer works with the FBI after her transfer. Oh, and her hubby got a coaching job. Sounds like a sweet hookup for a favor. And that info is redacted too. I wonder why. Next, we have more information from Ken Silva regarding the Butler Trump shooting, and it's about how the FBI confiscating the murdered firefighter's phone that day and kept it from his wife for nearly 8 months. This news coming from a documentary called Butler Under Fire Part 2, The Search for Justice, available on Fox Nation. The documentary also features exclusive records obtained by Headline USA, as well as comments by Ken Silva. Go on and check that out. According to the wife of Corey Compratore, Helen, the FBI kept and never looked at Corey's phone. That it just sat in an evidence room in an envelope, unmarked. And I'm starting to think these FBI types just aren't curious people. As it turns out, Corey was filming when he was shot. The footage shows the camera's view ducking down with Corey. He gets shot. There's blood splatter, possibly from the head wound that killed him. And the phone falls to an angle. You can hear everything for 3.5 minutes. And although that is certainly something horrifying to reveal to a grieving widow, I don't think that it warrants a procedure of keeping it from her for almost 8 months. If anything, it makes the grieving part worse for her and the family, and raises even more suspicions about the FBI. Suspicions that have not been helped recently by Deputy Director Dan's comments about this story, or the Epstein files for that matter. Shout out to Judicial Watch for suing the Justice Department to force disclosure in this case. And last this week from Headline USA's Ken Silva, a story about an ex-FBI agent who has floated a rumor that Director Patel is a closeted homosexual who parties at night. If you're thinking that sounds outrageous, consider this. Kashyap Patel lives with a billionaire named Michael Muldoon in Las Vegas. Muldoon is a GOP donor, but there is no word on what else he donates or receives from Patel. But former agent Kyle Seraphin says it's raising some eyebrows within the Bureau. Patel's residence was reported back in February, and according to a LinkedIn post from 2019, he and Muldoon went to Scotland together for a golf trip and maybe some stuff the haggis, if you know what I mean. And that, ladies and gentlemen, could just be an ethics violation. Not for the haggis stuffing, but because Patel was a federal employee at the time working for the National Security Council. The trip was described as a real peach and also included hashtags for fintech, or financial technology for you noobs, and also Equiant, which I had to look up to make sure it wasn't anything dirty. And it's in reference to a financial services company that offers cloud-based loan servicing solutions. Cash was listed as a colleague. What does that mean? I can only imagine. And here's a picture of Michael Muldoon, and who knows where that golf glove has been. There's also stories about Cash's protective detail having to wake him up on a regular basis because he's been out partying all night in DC and also maybe in Vegas. Who parties there? I guess I gotta watch what I say though, because no one wants to get Figluzzi by Patel. And I'll leave that for you to read further about on Headline USA. Patel's lawyer hasn't yet responded to us about this though, and neither has the FBI. I'm waiting for there's no there when it comes to these two guys in their 40s and 50s living together. Tell us what you think about all of these stories by leaving a comment on headlineusa.com. Follow us on X, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on our new Rumble channel, and subscribe to Headline USA to get more stories like this delivered to your email inbox. Come back next week to see what makes the tape.